Yes.
Ramya, hello.
Hello, Eric.
Please introduce yourself fully. Tell us about your work and please tell us a story.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Eric. Just making sure. Okay, will it be there? Because you need to see the board. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Eric. Thank you for this wonderful platform that you've created. And I'm Ramya Srinidhi and I come from Bangalore, India. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here. And I'm somebody I'm a passionate storyteller who believes that the stories choose the storyteller and its audience. So thank you all for being here. And what you see here next to me is a Kamishibai stage. The story that I'm going to tell you today will be in this format. It's a traditional Japanese style of storytelling. With that, let me tell you a story. It is titled The Girl with a Pearl Necklace. It's written by Alexander Jansen. Artwork is done by Manis, and I have procured them from Don Bosco. So I welcome you to the journey of this little girl called Raha. It was still a beautiful day in Raha's world. Her grandparents had come in early to wish her happy birthday. It was her 6th birthday and there were balloons and streamers everywhere. Raha wore a shimmering white dress and she was shining like the bright sun. She sang and danced in her apartment. Her mother, she hung a necklace, a pearl necklace on Raha. Raha's eyes widened. Shimmering blue and green pearls all at the same time. It's magic, she said. Her father told Raha that it was their gift. Raha, these pearls are lucky. They bring joy and hope, he said. What is hope, Papa? Asked Raha, and before he could even answer, she was already dreaming of how it would be for her to show off her new necklace at school the next morning. What nonsense are you wearing, Raha? Don't you know that you're not supposed to wear jewelry in school? Take it off immediately, said her teacher. Well, let me tell you, Raha came from a place where dates hung from palm trees, pomegranates, lemons, oranges from fruit trees. She came from a place where it was very hot. She came from a place where all the girls had to wear the same colored scarf on their head to cover their hair, their neck, and their ears. The teacher asked her to remove the necklace immediately. Raha was disheartened. She ran home and told her father the entire incident. Her father comforted Raha. He told her that he hoped and he wished that she could live a free life. As for her mother, she was very worried because the teacher had already called and complained. And she even said that Raha was not allowed to laugh in class anymore. Well, the next day, Raha was allowed to sleep a little while longer. There was no school that day. So Raha was quietly tucked in her bed sheet. Just then, freedom, we want justice, we want equality. There were loud protests on the streets. Raha woke up and ran to the window. Her mother soon followed her. Mama, look, isn't that Papa there holding the biggest banner with another man? She said. Yes, that was Raha's father who was fighting in his country for equality, for justice, for freedom. Soon, police and soldiers came in there to remove all the protesters and they were trying to scatter all of them. Her mother quickly shut the window. She pulled back Raha and said, "Come back, Raha. Everything will be all right." It was still middle of the night when Raha's mother woke her up. "Raha, wake up, we need to go," she said. She quickly pulled some clothes from the closet, put it in a bag, and she pulled Raha. My beads, said Raha as they escaped from the back door. The beads fell down and Raha was able to hold on to just one bead. They walked out of the back door and there was a bus waiting. They got into the bus and they drove on the rusty roads towards the mountains. On the way, Mama told Raha that she had received a call. Her father was in great danger and they had to flee. They had to leave immediately. He would join them, but for them, they had to cross the border and go towards Germany. Well, they now reached a cottage on top of the mountain. They were sitting on stone floor. Her mother's heart was pounding. Soon many people joined this cottage. They were all refugees. People who were trying to flee their country. Some came from places where bombs were falling from the skies. Nobody dared speak a word. As for Raha, she found another girl her age. And quietly, very quietly, they started playing. Her friend gave her a nut which had a hole in it. Raha quickly wanted her mother to tie the nut in her necklace. She wanted to collect it. Soon the door opened and the smuggler came in. Yes, that's what they called the man who was supposed to take them to the other side of the border. He signaled them to leave and horses were waiting outside. They had to mount these horses and Raha and her mother got a white horse. As they got onto it, Raha's mother looked back. She looked back at her hometown, at her family, at friends, her husband, whom she was leaving behind. But for Raha, it was the beginning of an adventure. She imagined she was sitting on this beautiful white horse with big wings, and she could fly in the sky and swoop down and pick up her father, her grandparents, her friends, and they could all fly away. Shh, said her mother. I think we have reached, Raha, she said. They had reached something that looked like a pink fortress. There was barbed wire everywhere. Uniformed men were guarding the gates. When Mama looked closer, the smuggler got down from his horse and walked up, and there was some exchange of money there. She wasn't sure if he was giving or receiving money. At this point, I would like to pause my story. I would like to ask a few questions to my audience. You don't have to unmute and answer. However, I want you to reflect on these questions. What do you think happened to Raha and her mother and all the refugees? Did they cross over to safety? Was the smuggler giving money or receiving money to help capture all of them? Well, this story could be a work of fiction. Or do you think it could even be a true story? We don't even have to look too far for an inspiration. We all know what happened in Afghanistan when Taliban took over. We saw people falling from flying airplanes. What happened to all those people who wanted to flee from their own home country? All those young girls who were separated, what happens to them? Well, as you're reflecting on these questions, let me tell you, all these refugees, there's one thing that they all have. They have hope. Hope against hope that they're leaving all their hardships behind and going towards a better tomorrow. With that same hope, let me tell you what happened next. Well, the smuggler indeed turned out to be a kind man. He got down from the horse. He pulled a bead from the horse's ornament, pressed it on to Raha and said that he knew his father. Her father was in a safe place and he would definitely come for them. And they had to cross and go towards Germany. Unfortunately, a horse couldn't take them there. They were on their own now. Well, from there, it was a very long and difficult, arduous journey for Raha and her mother. They finally reached the shore where they had to cross the Mediterranean Sea. Raha's mother sold all her jewelry to pay for a boat to take them to the other side. Well, Raha, she sat down on the shore and she picked up a shell. She wanted to keep that as a sign of hope. A pearl, a nut, a shell. She was collecting one after the other as a sign of hope for herself. Well, there were tiny boats that was waiting for them. Many people wanted to cross and go to the other side. The sea was deep and sometimes the waves so high. They did cross the sea and they were dumped into these small trucks. Many people were just pushed in and doors closed. The smell of unwashed bodies, it was loud and dirty. Raha was sitting close to her mother, holding her hand real tight, hoping they would be safe. Well, soon they reached Germany and police officers helped refugees get down from the truck. A young policewoman came up to Raha. She saw her necklace and said, "Well, you seem to be somebody who collects things." And she pulled a button from her uniform and gave it to Raha and said, "Welcome, little girl, you've made it." Raha's mother had to take different difficult jobs just to make sure she could eat and sleep with Raha because they were now living in refugee camps. Her mother even started to learn German. Days to weeks and went to months before she got a job at a tailor shop and she could buy a small apartment for Raha and herself. Well, today was the first day at the new school for Raha. Well, she was excited and nervous all at the same time. They had to introduce themselves. Raha pressed her pearl necklace and she told the class about the white horse, the mountains, the sea, the shell, the bead, the nut. And the teacher applauded. Everybody clapped and praised Raha for her courage and resilience. She had made new friends and they even gave her another bead for her collection. She now had 6 beads for herself. Though Raha was very happy in the new apartment with her mother, not a single day went without Raha thinking about her father. She would run to his picture on the table. She would sit there. She would remember his sweet voice, his rough beard, his kind words. "Raha, my little angel, my sweetheart." Well, the next day was Raha's 7th birthday. She woke up in the morning, but she woke up scared. "Mama, Mama," she screamed because her necklace which was on the photo was missing. "Mama, my necklace, I can't find it," she said, and she ran down. A kind hand reached out, holding one end of the necklace. That was Raha's father. The other end was being held by her mother. Raha couldn't believe her eyes. She ran and she hugged her father real tight. Well, her father told how he had such difficulties to cross the border. He made so many inquiries to find out about Raha and her mother and finally reached them. And he even gave her the 7th bead, just like the one that she had in the beginning. Well, he told him that somebody had gone to the apartment after they had left. He had found a bead, got to the father at this hiding place, and the father always held on to it as a sign of hope. "What is hope?" asked Raha. And her father said, "My dear, hope is a belief that everything will be all right." With that same hope, I would like to end my story with a belief that everything will be all right. Thank you so much for listening to my story.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Eric.
And it's amazing that you have the same necklace on that appeared in the story.
Well, it's like I said, the story chose because I had told Eric I would tell a different story, but I think a lot of things that's happening around in my own country and everywhere, I think the story kind of nudged me to be told today. So thank you, Eric, for giving me this opportunity to tell the story.
Thank you. So where did the visuals come from?
This I had purchased. There's a place called Don Bosco. My brother lives in the US who had got these visuals for me. And it's a very, very long story. And the writer happens to be somebody who works at these places for refugee camps. And the artist happens to be a refugee himself who left Iran and who reached Germany to be in 2009, and he was a refugee himself, and now he works as an artist there. If you notice, there isn't a mention about the country that they're fleeing from, though there are a lot of ideas to give that, but there is a mention about the country that they're going towards.
So were these visuals made especially for you, or they were in a shop available? I mean, this is a form of Japanese storytelling. I'm sure in Japan
Yes.
there are companies that provide sets of visuals for many stories.
Yes.
So was this set available?
Yes, this set was available, and this was in the US. It was available.
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you.
Okay, this was available. It was not made specifically for me. It was available, all the artwork, and I have procured it from the US. It was in a shop in the US. Yes, in America. And yes, a lot of my reading led me to a lot of reading about the situation that happened for all the people in Afghanistan. So I just thought maybe I could just pause in the middle and just bring up these questions, these thoughts that we could all reflect upon. Though it's a happy ending story, a lot of my research has given me information that not all stories end so happily.
Of course. So can you say anything about the difference between just telling a story with no visuals as opposed to telling a story with visuals?
I have always been an oral storyteller. I've loved to tell stories, but recently in 2019, when I discovered Kamishibai, for me it was amazing, because I thought as a storyteller you also have something else to enhance your stories. And I recently founded the Indian Kamishibai Association, and there's been a lot of work. Yes, in last year in December, I founded the Indian Kamishibai Association, and we have a wonderful group now, and we have meetups, we have workshops. So what for me, having a visual to enhance your story was even bigger and better. But there is definitely that work of how you play around with these cards and how you engage your audience, sometimes in the visual, sometimes in the storyteller. So that I thought was enhancing my skill as a storyteller itself.
Wonderful. Anybody? Any thoughts, comments, questions?
Ramya, so beautiful. So much for ending it with hope, because it was disturbing in the middle to hear about that struggle, and all of us are struggling in a way or the other, and it's bigger struggle there. But thank you for ending it with hope. It was a wonderful story and very well presented. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shruti. Yes, hope that everything will be okay.
And also,
We
I
all
wanted to
need
tell,
that.
was it Raha telling a story or was it Ramya? It felt
It
like
was Ramya telling Raha's story.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And, please do, does the association have a webpage, perhaps?
Not yet, but it'll soon have. We are a page on Facebook right now, but yes, we'll soon have a web page.
Okay, so people can find it to the Facebook page.
Yes, a lot of people here in this room are already members of the Indian Kamishibai Association. So
Great. Okay, thank you very much.
thank you so much. Thank you.